Hey, what's up, everybody? So today I wanted to talk about why I'm no longer burning her bus and why I'm going to be voting for Hillary Clinton. Now, let me start off by saying that I still support Bernie Sanders and I still am very much in favor of the progressive values that he has put forth during his campaign and that he's been fighting for his entire life. Nothing changes in regards to that. I think that Bernie Sanders is probably one of the best politicians that our country has ever had, and it's a tragedy that he will not be our next president. But Hillary Clinton, she is the Democratic Party's nomination or nominee, and I still feel the same way about her since this whole entire primary or presidential election got started. If you think that I'm just I'm not a real supporter of Bernie Sanders. I've made probably about 50 to 60 videos in favor of Bernie Sanders. I've donated money to him. I've made videos criticizing Hillary Clinton. I waited 3 hours in line in Akron, Ohio, the city I live in, to go see Bernie Sanders give a speech downtown. And I actually had to, tell my professor that, hey, look, I'm taking off class today. I won't be in class. I want to see the speech. He's like, all right, cool. But I mean, that's how dedicated I was to Bernie Sanders and the ideals that he has been fighting for. And Hillary Clinton, to me, is a corporatist Democrat who's, she aligns right of center. She's a person that flip-flops on issues when it's politically expedient or when a special interest lines her pocket with money. But it is what it is. She's a nominee. And, a lot of people are saying that they're not going to vote for her. They're like the never Hillary people. But I have to look at her and then I have to look at Donald Trump. And I have to say, look, I'm not going to be voting for a third-party candidate simply due to the fact that I know they're not going to win. I'm not going to vote for a person who, I feel like the Green Party and the Libertarian Party would have a better chance if they started off at the bottom, at the local level, the state level, and the federal level, because, it's like you can't just start off wanting to be a pro and you haven't even competed at the high school level. That's the way I feel about third parties. Yeah, I took an I side with quiz and I got in Jill Stein. I'm more in favor of her policies than I am with Bernie Sanders, who was number 2. And but once again, you have to talk about electability. Jill Stein will not become our next president, even if they let her into the debates. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party have so much control over the political process that it's like we only have two options, and it's unfortunate because I would like to have a multi-party system. I wish we had a system where we had at least 4 political parties, where you have a left centrist party, you have a left party, you have a right centrist party, and then maybe you have like a right party, where like the parties on the outskirts keep the parties in the middle. It's like it sort of like keeps a balanced I don't want to say political ecosystem or whatever, right? So and a lot of people will say that, oh, you're just it's just like I hate when people say that I'm not a Bernie Sanders supporter or I'm betraying the cause and all this political purity. But at the end of the day, I don't want to live in a country that Donald Trump is the president. I don't want Trump to be president. That's the biggest concern to me right now, is making sure that Donald Trump does not become our next president, because he is by far the worst possible candidate, maybe besides Ted Cruz, that the Republican Party could have picked. Or maybe Ben Carson might have been worse than Donald Trump. But that's besides the point. Donald Trump is one of the worst, he's probably the worst Republican nominee in their party's history. Like, he basically wants to have our foreign policy be that of our worst enemy, which is ISIS. Like, he wants to torture the families of our enemies. Like, it's like that's what Nazis do. That's not what American values stand for. And then another big issue with me is that if Trump was elected, he would repeal the Affordable Care Act, which before, and this is factual evidence, go look it up, it's a Harvard study that said that 40,000 Americans died due to lack of health care because they couldn't afford it, or they were kicked off their plans when they needed treatment, or pre-existing conditions, whatever. And now you don't have 40,000 people dying a year due to lack of health care. It's just, that's not the case anymore. And if Trump is elected, you go back to a system where you have 40,000 people dying every single year. That's like a 9/11 every 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. It just, I don't want to live in a country like that. That's not a moral or ethical system to have when it comes to healthcare. Also, the Supreme Court justices, to me, are another important factor on why I'm voting for Hillary. Yeah, she'll probably put in some corporatists like liberals or whatever. But if Donald Trump is elected into the White House, he will put in nominees that are like Scalia or whatever. He'll put far right wing justices in, and you know what? Maybe they might ban abortion. It's like there's only one or two justices away from having a conservative majority where they will repeal Roe v. Wade, and then you go back to women having to use wire hangers and back alleys and able to get an abortion. Don't want to go back to a time where our country was like that. So yes, Hillary Clinton is a corrupt corporatist Democrat, but the alternative to me is just in crazy land where, to a point where it's just like I don't, there's no logical reason to vote for Trump over Hillary. It's like every negative aspect of Hillary Clinton is amplified times like 50 when you look at Donald Trump. He's a buffoon. Yeah, Hillary Clinton's a liar and she's a corporatist, but I'd rather have someone lose emails than have someone torture families of enemies. I mean, torturing women and like little children. You want to torture the little kids. Sick fucking bastard Donald Trump is. But that's all I have to say on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I know this will probably get a lot of dislikes because some people, they just have to have their way 100% of the time, or they just flip their shit. But you know what? At the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their opinion. So that's all I have to say about this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and enjoy your evening. Peace.